Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Spruce Mountain Farms by MapsByMako. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, 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 how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to go on a map tour of Spruce Mountain Farms by MapsByMako. This little bad mamma jamma is 151.59 megabytes to download and is very cross-platform friendly. This map here is based off of the US, kind of a fictional map, no real place, but just generally in the imagination of the US. It has a stone mining location and a wood chip removal. It is pretty darn slick. Now, one of the things that I've gone ahead and done here is I have started off in new farmers mode. That way you guys would know what you'd end up getting if you did start new farmers mode. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what equipment you'll be starting with. And here you go, starting off with small tractors, you got one Burr. Medium tractors, you got a Massey Ferguson. Large tractors, you got yourself a Case Magnum, not too shabby. Nice 1-2-3 combination there. Trucks, you have one Mack Pinnacle. Harvesters, you have one Axle Flow Case, and that does come with one grain header and a header trailer to complete the trifecta. Vehicles-wise, you do end up having one Lizard pickup truck. Trailers, you got one Load King Distinction triple hopper and a Cramp half pipe, not too shabby. Cultivators, you start off with a Vector 800. Seeders, you get a Rapid A800. Fertilizer spreaders, you get the Breedall K105, which is nice because this does both lime and fertilizer, so that's super cool. Mowers, you start off with one Kverlin 4140L. Tedders, a Kuhn GF 8712, and windrowers, a schmazzy windrower. Forage wagons, you have a Pottinger, Faro. Animals, you get up one Joskin Aquatrans. You have one Belvedere animal trailer. This is 4 horses. Front loaders, you have one Quickie front loader, and that comes along with one universal bucket. And to round everything off, guys, you have one weight. So that's the equipment and everything that you'd be starting with. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at that map. And here is your map. And as you can see, guys, there's a lot of neat little things on here. You have some big fields, you have some medium-sized fields, and some small fields all mixed together. Square edges, a couple unique edges over here, not too shabby. Along with these fields over here, you take a look at this, viable forestry areas. So there's a lot of little forestry areas to rock and roll with. Also, if you take a look at this key, there's an easier path up Spruce Mountain, which I've gone ahead and taken a look at. It's not too shabby. Steep terrain, you got to watch out in here. It's a little bit rough. And then off-road path, 4x4 only along this red marker. And I tell you what, I've gone out there. I've gotten a couple things stuck, so it really does mean it. We will take a look at that a little bit later on, but this is, like I said, what you got going on with your map. All standard production items are in here. It's not anything crazy. You do have a couple train locations here. There's no train, but you do have the silos, so you do have that for convenience. You have your production facilities are all rocking and rolling right in here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the farmland really quick. And this is what you'd be starting off with if you do start off in new farmers mode. Now, this is all one thing right here. You have all this, and it's actually connected with all the roads as it kind of loops around. So you got that going on here. All the production and town areas, I'm using air quotes here, town areas, that's all one as well. So if you really want to buy that, you can. But let's go ahead and take a look here, because you come down here, field 35, that's your cheapest field. Coming in at $7,516. Not too shabby. Now, going to the most expensive field, it's not It's not Field 4. It's Field 2. Field 2 coming in at $214,000. Field 4 up here looks like it's the biggest field, but it's only $106,000. That was one of the things that it was brought up here in the description of the map, is that if you start on the starting farm, you have, oh, I'm sorry, that one's the most expensive, 222, my bad. They want you to be able to go ahead and grow and expand. So they have these two larger fields here as a little bit cheaper so that you can go ahead and purchase them. Other than that, the field prices are what you could consider to be relatively standard. So that's nothing to really get weird about. You just have this little area up here where these field prices don't make sense for their sizes. So keep that in mind. Now, that's fields. The cheapest plot that I was able to find is right down here. It's just this little, it's like on the edge of a bridge here. $4,737. This one right up here is the next closest one, and that's 6.8 thousand. Not too bad. This is where your sawmill is, so that's what's going on right there. The most expensive is this large plot right here, and that takes care of a lot of forestry, a lot of bits and pieces in between, coming in at 1.2, almost 1.3 million. Now, wood chips, 25,000. We'll take a look at that. That's an absolutely amazing deal. Stones, 67,000. Absolutely amazing deal. They actually recommend that you go ahead to get that the production facility, the stone that makes the lime production facility. They actually recommend that you get that for this. It's not a required download. You can come on here, get the stone, sell it all you want. They just suggest it because you can probably make a whole bunch more, especially with these size fields here. That might not be a bad idea. Get some stone, make some lime, have at her, because you got some big fields on here. All in all, guys, it's pretty darn neat the way they have all this stuff laid out right here, where you have the large fields, medium fields, small fields. It really has a little bit of everything for everyone. The BGA down here, they do have it. You actually have to get that through the production, so it's not buying plot of land, even though you still can buy the plot of land. But with that being said, guys, we'll have to go up here and take a look at this off-road area, and the only way that we're going to be able to do that is if we get down on our feet and walk around and take a look. All right, everyone, here we are on the ground taking a look at things as they are. One thing I'd like to do really quick here is turn on the map in the corner so that you guys can kind of follow along with me as we go on this little walkabout. Now, as you can see here, we got a nice long driveway. You see me driving up here, little carport to make things happen. This is an absolutely huge setup for a farm. We're just going to take a little walk around. Actually, you know what? This is a big farm. Let's go ahead and hop in our truck and drive on around here. I'm actually going to pop on out right there so we can get a little bit better view of what we're seeing here. And there we go. Yeah, like I said, this is a relatively large looking farm here. It's actually pretty darn neat the way it's all laid out. It's kind of, it really does feel like an organized hodgepodge, I guess is a good way of saying it. Now, as before, you could see I walked up here, I was taking a look at this horse. You only get the horse here when you are going on new farmer mode. As for this truck right here, you actually get this no matter what. No matter what starting you want to start on, you at least get this truck here to rock and roll around on. So all in all, that's darn cool here. Let's head on over here because there is a really neat feature that I like. Now, heading on over here, you see how we got this little pond right here? Well, across this wooden bridge, you got a little boat if you want. Across this wooden bridge, you have your water storage here. And as you can see, there are collectibles on here. Not too shabby at all. But it's just kind of a nice little, here's your pond. You got all this little stuff here. Super, super neat. Super, super cool. Oh, get out of the water here. Nice big barnyard. Pretty darn cool. One thing that I did notice, you can go ahead and actually sell off all of this stuff that's on here. So you don't have to worry about that. And from what I could see, there are no special collectibles. I mean, not collectibles. There are no special placeables that you can go ahead and throw down here on this map. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, that's what you end up getting here. So one thing that I'd like to go ahead and do is I'd like to let you guys know that I'm not going to be driving too much on the roads. I like to go ahead and drive across the fields to kind of show you guys what you're going to be dealing with if you do and when you do get out here and start buying stuff. So let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling here. As you can see, for the most part, the fields are relatively flat. Even when you get out here, you have this large field here, field 4. You have a little bit of a rise to it, but that's about it. There's not much going on. Obviously, with a field like this, it's going to take one heck of a long time to go ahead and plow this with a 1-meter plow or anything like that. So, yeah, obviously, upsizing your stuff just to be able to handle everything, the workload, might be necessary. Obviously, if you want to have a fleet of little 80 horsepower tractors out there rocking and rolling, by all means, go for it. But for the most part here, you probably are going to want to go with a little bit bigger stuff. Now, that's on these bigger fields, obviously. Bigger fields. Some pretty intense and steep stuff happening right over there. Keep your eyes peeled open. Like any other time you go ahead and purchase any fields, any lands, anything like that, you're probably better off going ahead and taking a look at it to see what it's like. So I want to come over here and check out this forestry area. All of the forestry areas have this forest floor on it. So if you're wondering what's a placeable, not placeable, purchasable, goodness gracious, a purchasable plot, you can come over here and just take a look and see. And the forestry texture here, the florist flooring, oh my gosh, that is where your land pretty much starts and ends. If you wanted to go ahead and purchase that, that is. Oh, shoot. All right, let's get going. Alrighty then. So heading out here, we take a peek at this, and as you can see, guys, like I said, for the most part, relatively flat. Some elevation changes, nothing that's too extreme or anything like that. Nothing that you're really going to have to upsize what you have. You're not going to have to upsize horsepower to compensate for anything like that. You may want to get a little bit bigger horsepower just to be able to deal with, well, the large fields. I mean, like I said, you can go ahead and if you want to attack this field with a 1-meter plow, by all means, well, not that one, the large one over there, you can go ahead and do that. So now here towards the bottom of the map, we do have some smaller fields. So if you are the type of player that likes to buy small and work your way up, this is the area for you. Because down over here, we do have a lot of these really small plots. I'll zoom out here a little bit so you can better view. You do have these small fields that are down here that if you want to go ahead and start small, this is a great place to go about doing it. There's also another little farm over here that you can go ahead and purchase, which we will go ahead and take a peek at that in just 1 second. But you do have this other farm that you can go ahead and start on if you really want to. It's entirely up to you what you would like to do. And this farm right here is... it's all of this extra stuff all together. So you can utilize this. It does come in at just a hair under $100,000, so it's not unreasonable. But, like I said, there's just not as much stuff on it, not as much room. All in all, very, very nice location. Very, very nice location. Especially if you're planning on starting small. I mean, that's absolutely, absolutely spectacular. Now, a lot of the maps where you go ahead and you think that they have a lot of these really, really big fields. All right, this is a big field farming map. Go to town. It's going to take forever to go ahead and do this. Normally, that's all you end up seeing. So to have this little bit of variety here, I would say that's very, very cool to be able to have that variety instead of just having yourself handcuffed. It really goes and points to the map maker's desire to want to try and appeal to everybody, or is at least a very large audience, or as large as they possibly can get. So coming over here, taking a look at these smaller fields, again, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The field sizes over here just aren't that big, which is great, if that's what you want to do. But on the other side of it, it's nice because even though they are small, you still are getting a little bit of elevation changes. I would say percentage-wise, there's more elevation changes on these smaller fields than the larger ones, which is really, really neat. I think that's an absolutely spectacular thing that you got going on there. Let's head across here because we're starting to get into some of these goofy fields over here. where you have this and you have that wooded area. And as you can see, the painted on the ground where it is the forestry floor, that's what you'd end up buying. So not too bad, not too bad, I'd say. All right, head on over here. We do want to go ahead and take a little look-see through town here, just to kind of see some of the locations. We're not going to get too jazzy with that. But as you can see, when you're hopping through town, having a rock and having a roll, there is going to be your shop. It's over here. There's your shop right over there. All right. I don't remember where the shop is, so what are we going to do? We're going to hop out. We're going to find the shop. How are we going to find the shop? We'll just reset the vehicle, even though the shop's over there. Perfect. Shop does end up right back over there. So let's enter this. All right. I wanted to come over here because whether you go to the north farm or you go to the south farm, it does not matter. You have this nice access path going all the way down, or all the way up to the north, all the way down to the south. It's very, very neat. That car got out of the way. And this is one of the busiest areas, I should say, of the map when it does come to traffic. So kind of keep your eyes peeled out for over there. But all in all, it really still isn't all that bad. And even as I said before, if you're going to be out here rock and rolling on these large fields, you're probably going to have larger equipment. You're not going to really have to worry too much, I would say, about having to compensate for your size. Going up hills, anything like that, you're fine where you're at. Heading back over this way to the little bit of a town area. Yep, keep on going this way here, because I want to check out this field on the other side. And remarkably, once you get into town, there really isn't too much traffic. It's only on these exterior roads, like that guy. Clearly, I missed a stop sign. That guy, that was intentional, though. This is turning out to be a mess. All right, so I wanted to come out here and show this field here, because you got this one edge along here, which is really, really neat. How it's at this steep angle as you're rocking and rolling. Now, obviously, if you're going to be going ahead and doing this field here, you're probably going to want to go north to south along this way. You're probably not going to want to go up this way as much as you can, just because of the steep angle. So really, really do what you can to kind of keep your eyes peeled on what's going on with that. All right, so one of the things we're going to end up doing here is we're going to end up getting ourselves a little bit deeper into the woods. So we're going to go ahead and look at the wood chip area, we're going to look at the stone mill area, and we're going to be able to see what we're actually dealing with. All right, let's go this way. And you do kind of have another little area over here. There's really no usable, I do apologize, I didn't really go in there, but there really are no usable buildings in there, but they all look pretty darn neat. Now, this is where you start getting into some of the rough terrains, things like that. So you really have to kind of watch out what you're doing. This is one of those paths where it does say you're going to want to have four-wheel drive or something like that to get yourself around. And this is kind of what it's getting at. It even says do not enter, but we're entering anyways because we don't know what we're doing. And I'm actually going to go ahead and go in reverse, because at this point I know I'm not going to be able to get up there. We're going to need something with a little bit more power to take care of that. But being down over here, it gives us an opportunity to look at some of this forestry that we're dealing with here. As you can see, over up in this area, you do end up getting a lot more trees, a lot more large trees. The other areas towards the south of the map, kind of spread out in there, you do end up having trees there. They're there, but you don't have them as the size and quality that you do up here. Some parts are dense, some parts are wide open like this. So as for forestry really isn't going to be too much of an issue. You should be able to get back here with pretty much any vehicle. You should be able to do really anything that you need to back over here. Enough trees where you don't really have to think about replanting, but obviously depending on how long you want to play on a particular map, or on this particular map, you may want to look at it. Like I said, it all depends on what your thought process is for going ahead playing on this map. But like I said, as we were over there trying to get up that little hill. It wasn't working. It wasn't right. So I think we need to get ourselves a new set of wheels, at least to get around in style. Now, I do apologize right now. You may want to go ahead and put your earphones on because we got that was an attempt. Don't worry about that. We do have ourselves a slightly different vehicle to go up here on this little rough road. And I tell you what, guys, even with this guy right here, oh yeah, listen to that. Listen to that thing purr, you betcha. It still is kind of a pain in the butt. So depending on what mod you guys want to use to get up here and work yourself around, it still can be kind of a pain in the butt. I actually did go ahead and try using, back up a little bit. I actually did try using one of those forest harvesters, like the Scorpion King and all that stuff. It works. You can get up over there. It's a little bit more graceful than this thing, to be honest with you. But like I said, this is a little bit cooler to get yourself up and around and doing things, rocking around, getting up the hills. I mean, it's all depending on how you want to go about doing things. It really is. It really, really is. But let's come on down here through the thinner trees to the thicker trees, and with a little bit of determination. Oh, come on. With a little bit of determination, you can find yourself in a pretty slick area. And you can find a pig. You betcha. Oh, shoot. That wasn't the type of determination I wanted to use. So as you can see down there, guys, there's a nice little valley, a nice little ridge, whatever it is that you want to call it down there. It's just a neat little area to be able to go ahead. There is some areas where you can drive around as like a test to your four-wheel drive. Ultimately, there's a neat little system down in there to walk around, look at stuff. And there's a cave. There's a cave you want to keep your eyes peeled open for. So, I guess tell you what, guys, give me just 1 second. I'll get back into my truck. Not that guy, because that's awfully loud. Very cool, awfully loud. But give me just 1 second. We'll continue looking around. We'll take a look at the stone pit. And then we'll go check out the wood chips. Alright, guys, so we're back at the truck here, and I lied to you. We're actually going to go take a look at the wood chips first before we go ahead and take a look at the stone pit. Roads back over here for doing forestry, really, really good. Like I said before, it's not going to be too hard to get in here and harvest whatever trees you want to harvest. It's not going to be the end of the world that way. Some of these roads, though, they're less than perfect. You're going to have to watch out on some of the longer semis that you have for pulling the loads. They could potentially get stuck. The road is rough, but just off the road, it isn't as terrible in some of these locations, so that may be an option for you. Watch out as you're coming through here. Pretty darn slick. And this actually gets us very, very close to the wood chip harvesting. Maybe telling yourself, where's wood chips? Wood chips are out here in the lake. There's the sawmill right up there. This is all the overflow. This is where all the wood chips are. So if you really want the wood chips, you have to purchase this land, come out here with a bucket, scoop them up, get them out of here. But I tell you what, this is just money laying on the ground. If you really think about it, that's all it is. Money that's just laying on the ground. All you have to do is want it. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Let's hop back in here. And like I said, this here is only about $25,000, if I remember correctly. It's not too bad price-wise. For $25,000, you can really get yourself out there and rocking and rolling. Let's take a look at this really quick, because when it comes to stones, stone prices actually are really, really good on this map compared to what you normally find stone prices. Kind of keep your eyes peeled for that. Wood chips, on the other hand, let's take a look at wood chips. Wood chips are right about the same price as they would normally be on a lot of other maps. So stones, wood chips, keep that in mind. They're not too terrible, but like I said, that's money just laying out there. It's just, like I said, it's just laying out there. It's not going to hurt to take. It definitely isn't going to hurt to take. Again, as we're out here rocking and rolling, you do see the road here. Like I said, maybe just off the road after you kind of clear yourself a path. This seems like it's a little bit smoother, a little steeper, but you know what? It's an option. It's entirely up to you. All the bridges on this map here, from what I could remember seeing, are actually all pretty darn good. You don't have to worry about super wide loads, or I should say super narrow loads to get across. They're all like this, where they're relatively wide, so it doesn't matter what you're going to be able to use or what you're going to want to use to get to it. Heading up over here, here is the stone pit. It's a stone pit. I mean, that's what it is. You got a pit of stones. Get yourself up here, get some stones, just like the wood chips. It's money that's just sitting on the ground. You can't beat it. You can't pass it up. It's an absolutely spectacular thing. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and put this into lime, by all means, go for it. Lime is more expensive to sell versus stones. All it's going to cost you is time. And speaking of that, let's go ahead, let's fly up into the sky, because I think it's time to look at this thing from up above. All right, everyone, let's go fly up into the sky. Not too shabby, not too shabby at all. As you guys can see, lots and lots of trees all over the place. This is one of those routes where it's telling you you need to have like that monster truck or something with four-wheel drive right there. Yikes, pretty darn intense if you do say so myself. All in all, guys, this is very, very neat. This is that cavern, that pit. There's actually, like I said, a cave system down there. Let's see if I can find the entrance for you really quick. There it is. There's the entrance. And I tell you what, guys, I've gone down in there. There's some surprises. You betcha there's some collectibles down there. And it's absolutely cool on the way it weaves and bobs and goes all around underneath there. If you have the opportunity, take the time to go ahead and look at it. Nice little camping area. Pretty darn cool the way all of this is kind of set up. Forestry tower to watch out for the forest fires. Guys, this is super, super cool. I like the combination of forestry, farming, both types of farming, small farming, large farming. You can even throw medium farming in there, for crying out loud. Very, very cool. I really like how everything kind of flows together. You don't have a whole lot of extremes when it comes to elevation changes for fields, but for the most part, let's face it, a lot of elevation changes do tend to cause some problems. Overly flat gets to be too boring. This gives you a little bit of everything that you want, everything that you love in life. Small fields, medium fields, large fields, forestry, rocks, and wood chips. You betcha, guys. You betcha. Comment down below. Let me know, where would you want to start? Do you want to start small? Do you want to get yourself going, making a go at things, getting the small farming on? Yeah, you betcha. Or would you like to go ahead and tackle the big dogs? You betcha. Big dogs over here, or is it forestry? It's all up to you. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and if you guys are liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the subscription, it helps out an absolute ton. I'm shooting for 500, guys. Please help out. If you guys have an opportunity, go ahead and share this video with somebody who likes large fields, small fields, forestry, options. Share this with somebody who likes options, because we got a whole heck of a load of them on here. Guys, say it because I want to, not because I have to. And I will catch you guys at the very next one. And until I do, thanks for stopping by.